Alright, folks, it's Morgoth the Barbarian here. Welcome to the 11th episode of our Railroad Tycoon 2 Let's Play. And last time out, we were connecting a few little bits, but we ran into a bit of a problem as we were doing so and getting some more trains online. That's the problem! Our profits are going down. Shareholders are not happy, and neither am I, because in order to get as much score as we can, we have to, get as much book value and company net worth as we can. And my net worth is starting to go down. I'm half a billionaire, and this displeases me. I mean, doesn't it all? So today we're going to start by trying to fix this problem, seeing what's causing it, and just letting the game run through from this point forward. I mean, we've connected to pretty much every city. Well, except maybe one, but close enough. But anyways, we've just about connected, although eventually we're going to have to think about electric trains once the time comes. So, you know what buttons to hit. And before I begin, let's figure out this whole money problem. First things first. Oh, I already did. All right, I wasn't sure if I did or not. What on earth is causing all of the profit decline? Now, the game's finals, I guess our final score is book value plus the stock market net worth times 3 as we've gotten gold on this. But I've noticed we've gone from 309 million to 285. What on earth caused all that? So I'm looking through this. Okay, so it's cash. That's what's doing it as I was going through. We went from 91 million to 50. That's probably because we've all of a sudden have had some money issues. So we're going to get to the bottom of this. So here's the statement from 1810. I'm going to start by looking at... Well, actually, let's just focus on this page. I think this will give us a good idea of what's going on here. So as we look carefully... I mean, our revenue looks like it's down. Trains have gone up. Car maintenance has kind of gone up. Fuel has gone down. We've got more overhead. A little bit more salary, but that's probably not the issue. I think it's the lack of income all of a sudden. If we go back to 1910, we're making what, 25 million here? Got to put our business caps on for a minute. So this suggests to me that either we've got too many trains, they're clogging everything up, or demand has gone down. Well, let's start with the traffic issue, shall we? And we just need to click on this one, and we're good. And oh my goodness, yeah, I'm not surprised here in the East Coast we got a lot of trains between New York and... Well, basically between New York and Tampa. That doesn't shock me at all. There's not much traffic heading in this direction. Canada has a lot of traffic. Eastern Canada, that is. That's not surprising, all things considered. I'm actually surprised. Okay, there's not much traffic going between Montreal and New York, but so be it. There's a lot of traffic between Chicago and what appears to be the West. And as I look out here, basically the brighter colored the track is, the more traffic there is. And I'm not surprised that there's a lot of it in the center of the country over here, so... We are basically getting a lot of traffic, so... How do we rectify this? Now, is there any... Now, as we go further west, what we're looking at? And the south has a lot of it. But a lot of our routes are, like, localized to an extent. It's possible the increase in traffic is just slowing our trains down, which in turn is just causing backups. Let me see if that's the case here. So that could be one issue. aside from the breakdown, I am seeing quite a few track blocks in some of our areas that are getting it the most. Pittsburgh is getting quite a few too. Eastern Canada. So this is actually making kind of sense here. It might be because a lot of our trains can't move. The game, how it works, the AI automatically takes it through the shortest route, though. So I don't know how much we'd be able to fix this. If at all. It could be we just need to reduce the number of trains on this area, which would be the prevalent thought. And then in the south, we've got a lot of trains, too. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can try to build some train tracks here, though. Maybe try to alleviate this problem a little bit to an extent. See if we can do any sort of bypasses. And again, this is all based on how the AI sends, where it sends the trains. Okay, that's not going to work. So let's see. I was hoping we could build one. Let's start, let's say, in this line right here. Between Houston and Mobile. That's where a huge backup is. I mean, you look at all these trains here. That's just insanity. So what if... I'm leaving the game paused for right now until otherwise. We squeezed a line through there. It's kind of a bypass of Baton Rouge. I don't know if the game's AI is going to let me do that whatsoever. It's certainly worth a shot. So that could be one area. And by the way, I am going to be speeding up the game quite profusely here, so I'm leaving it paused for right now. Until otherwise. This area. First off, how'd this happen? Oops. Second off... Yes, I can build electric track, but I'm choosing not to for right now until otherwise. Okay, so let's double that track up and try to build kind of another junction over here. This looks like it's not getting utilized too much, so we'll leave it as is. Well, now, hold on a minute. Oh, there actually is? Okay, so that needs to be doubled. That track basically needs to be doubled up. There comes a certain point in time where our single track needs to convert into double. That does not help us out either. There we go. We'll create a conjunction. Yeah, because the oil trains are using that, so it looks like, so might as well. Let's see. That should probably be doubled up over here near our iron mill if it's doing that. All right. Let's see. That looks to be fine between Chattanooga and here. This is just an incline. There's really nothing we can do about that, if we're being honest. Let's see. So there's no other single track in this area that appears to be jammed up. And again, I'll hit the go button in a little bit and see if that does the trick or if we're in trouble. Let's see. Another spot I could possibly build on. Oh, and then there's that. That's better. Let's see if the game will let me. We'll clean this up a little bit. All right, there's a train on it. Never mind. If I could build like a bypass between Ottawa and our northern line over here. That way our trains don't have to go to Toronto. They can kind of skip it and head right to Sudbury if they so desire. I don't know if that'll work. Let's see. Nothing up here. The northeast looks packed as usual, but again, this is not a surprise by any means. Could try another bypass through Concord straight to Boston and see if that works. Some of these we can just build bypasses to and see if the game will... And we can come back in a few years and see if this will works out. There's absolutely nothing I can do about this. I don't think. Unless I build through, I guess we'll call this Delaware and see if that maybe works too. But this is going to create an issue. Like that right there. Fine, so be it. It'll have to... Again, we'll see if the game uses the overpass or bypass there, or if it's not going to, another spot we could build is through here and go directly to... Well, I was going to say directly to Roanoke, and then that happened. There's this huge grade that's there. That is not what I want to be seeing. I guess we'll do that for right now and see if that works. I mean, again, there's no industries there, so be it. What's funny is I was about to create another train line from here all the way to get this cattle, but maybe not for right now. Is this doing really well? No. Okay. Are any of these doing well? I'm just curious. No, not right now. Okay. We also have a grain silo on route, too, but I'm going to leave it as is. Okay, so let's see where else could use it. Nothing we can do about that. Florida is Florida. I can't really do anything. Well, maybe we could. We're only going to build one track. Let me see if I can alleviate the stress on Tampa a little bit. We've already dealt with this the best we could. There's nothing I could really do about this because it's got a whole bunch of cotton mills. Nothing I can do about this either. Nothing I could really do about this either. This has basically become a main line between Minneapolis, Fergus Falls, well, apparently the Canadian border and Oklahoma City. That is nuts. I mean, there's nothing we could do about that. All right, this one's off. Well, actually, there is a couple things we could do over here. I'm going to double this. We'll double this, too. We'll double that all up. Up till including the coal mine. All right. Demolish that, neaten that up a little bit. So now we've gotten that done. Let's head west, where we're getting bald eagles screaming at us. I heard that. Nothing we could really do when they exit the Calgary. Or city whose name I can't pronounce ever. I think at this point I'm just going to stop trying before I embarrass myself too badly. Oh, dear. Oh, do we have that lumber? Really? Oh. Well, I'm going to fix this first and foremost. See if we can get kind of a bypass to Calgary. So hold on. Apparently I forgot a city. That's Malta. I don't even know where that is. Is that in Montana or North Dakota? I don't even know. It's somewhere. Somewhere I'm not familiar with. All right. That's the best I can do. I'm going to plop a small station over here. Just because I can. We'll give it a few things. We got to have a customs house since it's right near the border. And sure, we'll give it a roundhouse. Okay. If we got any wood from up here, we can certainly send it that way. I'll also do this too. Wait a minute. Nah. There's nothing there. Never mind. Never mind. I forgot Calgary already has that claimed. That's okay. We also didn't get Great Falls either. What is wrong with me? I mean, there's coal there, but with no iron, this really makes no sense to connect to it. So, sorry, Great Falls. I guess you're out of luck. This will be your station. Close enough. Sue me. Actually, I'll upgrade this to a large too while I'm seeing it. All right, there we go. Buildings gets a larger station. Excellent. Back to what we were doing. I don't think there's really anything else. West Coast. If it wasn't for the hills, this would be a lot easier, but alas, it's not. What you see is what you're going to get, I'm afraid. There's a lot of traffic in between Portland and then Spokane. There's nothing I can do about that. Advancing further east, I guess, towards the Great Salt Lake Basin in Denver, which now has a fertilizer plant. That is interesting. I don't remember if I have anything going to that. Wasn't there a chemical plant somewhere nearby? I totally forgot. Right, Fresno has it. That is an awful long way, but I'll look into it. But I don't know where I would send that. Probably over here. More than likely over there or over here. I don't know. One of the two. Anyways. Not much traffic in California or any place else. So we'll see if those work out or not. Now, since I just noticed that, there's one more thing I need to do, and we'll see if this works. If not, I'll let the game go for 5 years and see if maybe that'll do the trick. Now, so what I'd like to do is a couple trains over here, but where to send them? I want to hit Fresno to Denver, take advantage of this, and then send it somewhere. I don't know where. It's really, the grain is really the only place we could send it to. There's two I'd like to send it to. LA Junction and over here. All right. So I'm going to use Pacific. So let's see. I think we've concluded the Mikado is probably a better option at this point than the Pacific. So one Mikado. Send some chemicals over to Denver. Actually, I could even get rid of this. You know what? Forget the passengers. It's not important. Okay. We'll send it to LA Junction, which will give absolutely nothing in return. And then we'll repeat the same process with the Mikado, only this one time we'll send it to Tucson Junction. There we go. So there, now we got 2 new trains. So now I guess the question is, does this work? Automobile usage exploding. Oh, that's going to make things even worse now because the passenger traffic is going to get reduced. So keep that in mind as we go on. Now, that one we've already built. Let's see if the trains are utilizing it here. That one is not. Not really, especially if they're going to DC already. So that's not looking too good. Are you going to use it? No, of course you're not. Because you're heading to Memphis. That's why. Again, the AI will just go to the place that trains that work. Although I could build another station over here. Maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of cotton mills and then there's that. All right, that was kind of silly. I'm just gonna go Mikado from this point forward. Why not? Whoa! I've never had a simultaneous crash. Okay, that was weird. They actually both crashed at the same time. How does that happen? Game, are you trying to mess with me here? I don't like it. You know what? I'm actually going to build another station over here. Why not? I know there's not much over here, but so be it. Alright, so we'll do a couple things. I'm not looking for this to be a passenger station, so... There we go. I'll build a nice little junction over there, too, because I got a plan for this. Ah, it's different. Sweet. This will work perfectly. Okay. I know, we're going to cheat a little bit, but so be it. An all Baton Rouge line. I love it. There we go. I know, we are cheating a little bit, but so be it. Now we're getting robbed. Man, wow, our profits are getting even worse. My goodness. It looks like they were just fine. It's possible we may have to start cutting some passenger lines, because now, remember, the automobile usage is causing issues. That is definitely not helping. I think another thing I want to do here, and I noticed that cost us quite a bit of money, the dividend. I have to recut it to like that, and we'll issue some stock. Might have to rest, and there we go. Maybe that'll stop the bleeding. All right, never mind. No, it won't. Only one train is using the bypass, and that's the one we assigned it to. That's wonderful. All right, that makes sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to everybody else. So far, nobody's really using the bypasses, so that was all for naught, it appears. Well, traffic on this line seems a bit better. I don't know. I'll double that. All right, I'm going to speed this up a little bit. And then watch as my trains just completely implode. At this point, I think we'll just go straight to the Mikados from this point forward. Of course, every time there's a crash, it does stop. Inflation drives up cost. Since when did this game start imitating real life? What the hell? I didn't ask for that. Well, that's one problem right off the bat. Oh, this is getting much worse. I'll give it one more year. That is not helping either. Oh, there we go. We finally have a train using the bypass. That worked. Another one! Uh-oh. No more dividend. That is what I was afraid of. Now we're in trouble. Now we're in trouble. That is not what I want to be seeing. Unfortunately, that makes total sense. Especially with a cooling economy. Okay, so trains are using the bypass to Tampa, so we are getting some usage of stuff. I'm letting it fast forward to the end of the year, and then we'll recalibrate from there. Oh, this looks really ugly. All right, so now we're losing a lot of money. Revenue is sinking. The profit is just collapsing. Okay, I got to figure out what the hell's going on here. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a crisis. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Wow, that's a lot of lifetime revenue. Okay. So what on earth is going on here? Well, you can see that news announcement, the automobile is kicking our ass. The passenger lines are going down like crazy. Freight is fine. It is fine. Everything is fine on the freight end, but the passenger line is just collapsing entirely. That was due to the recent announcement that everybody's using that. Otherwise, as I look through everything else, engine maintenance is beginning to climb up. That could be the new trains kicking into effect. Same with the fuel costs. So what this is telling me, unfortunately, and I'm sorry to say, is some of our passenger lines may need to get yeeted into the sun, basically. So this now turns into a, which one do I need to get rid of? And immediately as I look at this, I'm seeing some issues. So I am now going to retire any train that I see losing money over the 2 years. Forget life, what you've done for me over the course of your career. What have you done for me lately is the question. And I'm already seeing a few things I don't like. So let me see how many trains I need to retire here. So I'll fast forward for this part. Alright, I must have cut like at least 50 trains from our arsenal here. I don't know. Somewhere along that number. There are a lot of retirements here. But I'm hoping that does two things. Cut down on the profit. I know we're going to take a 1-year hit. But I'm hoping that cuts down on the, helps with the profit a little bit. Now, unfortunately, when we retire trains, that kind of, screws everything up. But so be it. Let me actually see if I can. No, I can't do that right now. I know this looks really ugly, but don't have no fear. Hopefully, this will tend to turn the tide. I cut out a lot of passenger rails, though. Oh, the electrics still aren't that good. So we'll see if that maybe helps. But I don't know if it will. Oh, about time! I was wondering when we'd get a cement plant. That took long enough. So we kind of have to throw this year out the window and see if it works. Now, Tucson just got a cement plant. But I don't even see... There it is. It's hiding. Unfortunately, the gravel plant's all the way in Dallas. Although... I could give it a shot. That's going to be quite... Well... I know. Here comes me and my naive ideas. That's how we got into this problem in the first place. But I think I can make this work. We'll try out a brand new train over here. We'll also build a new bypass, I guess. I wasn't planning on doing this, but so be it. Let's see, and then from Tucson, we'll just build a nice little bypass from over there. We'll finally get the gravel pit that I've been meaning to get for the longest time. That took long enough. And the cement. Who's going to get paved streets? It has to go to a city here. Abilene, you win. All right, let's try it with this brand new train, the Class 12. Let's see how this works. It's kind of a test case. So you'll send it to Abilene, and there we go. Now let's see if this works or not. I'll be keeping my eye on that train a little bit. I'm hoping what will happen is when we cut down the amount of trains over here, that'll help us out a little bit. I love how that train's like hiding behind the woods. Like nothing happened here. Jeez. I love this game sometimes. Alright, so this is going to take a little while for it to make it, but so be it. And it's kind of getting better, but with a normal economy, that's not going to help. I guess that sort of helps, but not entirely. Let's try to figure this out. Is this still... We're still in the fritz here. I mean, passenger revenue going down, that was one thing. Yeah, we just have fewer trains. Tell you what, we'll let one more year go through, and then we'll see what happens. I told you this was going to go quickly. All right, 1 year later, let's see what happens. Aha! Aha! There we go. So it turns out the whole idea was our trains were in fact too crowded. Aha! That's what I thought might have been the issue, is that there may have been a few too many trains over here. Ooh, that's a lot closer. All right, well, we'll keep that in mind. But yeah. Hang on a minute. I'm trying to put two and two together here and see if this will work. No, it's got to be a grain silo, which is in Cheyenne, so I suppose I could send it there. All right, I suppose we can do a new train. Sure, we'll do it on an as-needed basis, really. Some of these more modern industries begin to start popping up here. All right, just give me a minute. There we go. Actually, we're going to I could do that. All right, even better. Even better. How does you have no oil? What is going on here? Hold on. Something isn't right here. All right, I need to put another building out in Little Rock, I guess. I'll give them those two as free as well. I don't know. Maybe I've neglected some of these areas with roundhouses. Something along those lines. There we go. You have no sand for whatever random reason, although to be fair, you haven't really crossed a station. Hold up. Why is this thing going to... What? Oh, that might have something to do with it. Whoops. That might explain why that train is heading in that direction. Okay, I messed up. That's wonderful. Anyways. Alright, we'll do a proper curve over there, too, while we're at it. Whoopsies! Okay, that wasn't supposed to happen. You know what? I'm going to save my game, too. Why not? So far, that seems to have worked. At least for right now. I don't know if it will altogether. Now, I want to see something. Ever since... So there is demand for passengers. It's not like we haven't gotten rid of it. It's just we're not going to earn as much anymore because the automobile kind of screwed us up. One thing we could do is just send, like, one train to all the, like, fast cities over here. Something along those lines. I don't know. Like, we still, for instance, still have this guy who's still chugging along. That wouldn't be such a bad idea, too. All right. I'm going to have you start in Boston instead. And we're going to do that from now on. So I'll send it to all the big cities that could use some passenger demand. Between here and Miami. There we go. So we'll stop in Tampa. All right, and you can head back. There we go. There it is. Okay. Maybe doing some clever rerouting will also help, too. We also have another one that goes down south as well. Though I'd like for this to go east if it can help it, so... Once again, same procedure. And it'll go all the way to Chicago, and that's about as far as I'm willing to let it take it. So the thought is, some of these you could probably redo. I don't know what this one's doing, although it's made a lot of money. There's probably a better use for this, I just haven't figured out what. Oh, man, and it's going between Orlando and Jacksonville, and it's just been doing that the whole time. Imagine there's probably a better use for this, so hold on. Well, I got it. Okay. Hold on a minute. See, now I'm totally screwing this whole thing up. 1 second. I gotta see what's in Columbia here. Oh, they do have a greenery. Okay. That's what I thought. I might as well send it to Jacksonville, I guess. So, actually... So, that's going to convert 2 grain cars, 2 aluminum, and 2 coffees. And then Jacksonville will send back what appears to be 4 food. Okay, that's fine. And we'll do a little extra on the side. All right. That makes that train a little bit more efficient. I like that a little bit better. I'm not seeing anything from the canneries just yet, though. So they haven't really gotten any profitability just yet, and that stinks, but so be it. Okay. We're slowly trying to get money back, but it's not really working the way it should. All right. I don't know what else we could do here. Well, we can replace that one with a Mikado. Or do I... Nah, the Mikado. It's a little bit better. All right. Well, especially this one. You know what? One more. This one's just having a bad day, and period. I don't know. See, now it's going back the other direction. It's just having a bad day, period. Ugh. That one's on me. I kind of screwed the routing of that up. Oh, actually, I want that. All right. There we go. We'll do this. I imagine there's probably an electric plant we could send this to. Oh, Houston! Ah! I don't like that. So let's see. There we go. See, I am going to build trains occasionally, just not all the time. It's kind of an as-needed basis from this point forward. Wish there was a cement plant closer. All right, and we're back to where we started, so that was quick. And then there's that, all right. Okay, that should help, so let's see if this helps or not. All right, so now the electric trains are starting to get a lot better, although the speed-wise, it's not there yet. It's not something I would do, but this will help us out a little bit, or so you would hope. All right, another one. All right. We still facing the same issue. So I look between both. Engine maintenance is definitely starting to creep up. Yeah, we're still losing money, apparently. We're, like, bleeding revenue. I don't know why. We'll see if maybe this year can fix everything before I make any more drastic changes here. Now that we're in a full year's prosperity, let's crank it forward. And, well, it is a Great Depression year, 1929. No, it's still not there yet. Okay, so we're still in trouble. I mean, passengers just keeps going down. There's no way we can stop the bleeding on that. Well, okay, it's kind of going up. Yeah, I mean, there's not really too much more we could do to stop the bleeding on this other than maybe look at our engine maintenance, which is starting to become an issue here. So it's possible our fleet needs to be modernized a little bit. Yeah, I'm seeing 33 years and all that fun stuff. So while I still can, we got 20 million. Well, hang on, let me fix that. Make that 24 million. I'm going to see if maybe we could try to upgrade a few of these trains. I'll only do the ones that are older than 20 years and see if that makes any sort of difference. So hold on. We'll place all of them Mikados, make them constant. So unfortunately, I only had to settle for the first 78 trains in my arsenal because I was starting to run out of money. We're down to 15 million, 14. Ugh. Okay, let's see if we get... Nope, never mind. I know, we're going to take a huge hit. Apparently, I decided when we replaced our fleet earlier all at once, that kind of caused some issues. Anyways, back to the game. The issue here is basically put. Where I'm hoping that turns the tide and gets our costs under control for fuel and stuff and car maintenance. And it looks like it's already having an impact because we're almost back to profitability, and even though we were in the hole to start out with. So it is working as I'm looking at this. I'm just watching the profit number go. Oh my goodness, yeah, it did. Look at that. That worked beautifully. We were up by like 5 million overall. My goodness, that couldn't have worked any better even if I asked it to. Oh, nice little random oil field. I might have to connect to that. We got a refinery in San Antonio, too. Huh. All right, I suppose I can grab that. Why not? Although, how am I going to get to... Oh, why not? Hang on, I got an idea. That'll work. Sure, why not? We'll take the small oil patch. Sure. But yeah, that seemed to have worked. So I'll give it one more year. Let's see what ends up happening after all of that. In the meantime, I am going to do a brand new train, and we'll send it to San Antonio and over to Houston, which now needs something. But yeah, I stopped halfway through because I wasn't sure if that was going to work or not. So there's a new one. If I ever wanted to send this south, I suppose we should do that too. We'll just keep this in Texas, because why not? And I guess we'll see if this works or not. I don't know if it will. Another thing, too, is I need to look at my industries again and see if they're all working. We have room to expand on this. That's going to leave a mark. Not the breakdown, but the economy going in the wrong direction. Okay. Some of these other things I could buy up a little bit. Really? Okay. I'll pass on this. Hopefully, as time goes on, the electric trains will take more precedence. So it looks like even with that and the economy collapsing, I guess there's another one. Let's see what we're left with. All right, game, you can stop doing that. I'm trying to get through this. Dang it, what are we doing here? Every time it crashes, it stops the game. That's the annoying part. Okay, so we're back, I guess. I mean, we started this scenario, what, in the red? We got third into the red, and then we finally have turned the corner. So our efforts have kind of helped out a little bit. I mean, granted, we're still a little bit short on cash, although I could fix that right now by doing that. I don't know. Until we get a little bit more stable, I'm very hesitant to well, I suppose the board of directors won't mind us giving out a small dividend. We'll make it 305, 5 cents. That way we're giving ourselves some cash. Because remember, we got to give ourselves personal net worth is kind of tied to this. Even though most of our net wealth is tied in cash. That's hilarious. Other than that, so we finish with the income screen. It looks like we solved our ills for the most part, and somehow our passengers are back. They're not as robust as they were, according if I'm reading this correctly, but and that could have been the economy talking. But it looks like we're kind of back. I mean, engine maintenance is now lower than it was. I'm going by 2 years ago because we got to throw this one out. That's when. Okay, so maybe if I work to replace some more trains, I know fuel costs have gone up because the Mikado glugs more fuel, but that's fine. And yeah, the overhead's going up too. But maybe if I can work to replace some of these more older engines, specifically the ones over 20 years, like, yeah, there's still plenty to replace. Again, I only did the first few. So maybe I'll work to replace those slowly over time, and hopefully that will fix it. And then the next task, I guess, will be some of our industries I notice are having backlogs. Like in Dallas Crossing, there's still oil. There's still a lot of oil over here. Like, we could use more of that, especially in the areas that don't have a lot of traffic. And speaking of traffic, has it gotten a little better? No, and on top of that, nobody's using my bypasses that are created. That is, well, they're using this one to an extent, but not really, but yeah. I had a funny feeling that would be the result over here, although, not for nothing. Maybe I can see one more thing I want to make. There we go. But yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised the traffic didn't really do too much. That was kind of a home run kind of thought. And, well, yeah, you see how this worked out. There's actually more traffic to Miami now. Same with Eastern Canada. That looks kind of iffy. Ugh. I mean, we can only do it with the AI. I mean, yeah, I could get into waypoints and all that stuff, but that would be overdoing it. That would take way too much time, yeah. Okay, that actually has helped out a little bit. I like seeing lighter lighter colored rails. But yeah, it didn't really do too much. So the bypass method didn't work, but certainly cutting down on trains will. I mean, we still have 215 total, so maybe cutting down on that might help. But otherwise, we'll see what happens as time goes on. So I think next time out, we'll continue our cost-cutting ways. I might upgrade this before I start the scenario, and then we'll see what kind of new industries we could look at. For instance, I now just spied this outside of Concord. Huh. Interesting. We might be able to do something with that. All right. Well, duly noted for next time. So, yeah, thank y'all for watching. You know what buttons to hit. And I will see you on the next one as we continue our journey through the 1930s and maybe go through the World War II years. And hopefully maybe we'll get some electric trains going. I know we haven't gotten there yet, but it's still in progress. So, peace out, y'all.